Right. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Jankyard. This is the treatment speaking, and we will be streaming the finals of the Waves Winter Open, a match between Brancus on Brennan Byrne and Tuxedo on Hope Creepers.
Hello.
Hey there. So I'm joined today by two co-hosts. We've got Flora and Ninja Dance Mat, and the game is just underway. They've already picked their first fives. So welcome, guys.
Exciting stuff.
Hello.
I
This,
noticed that Tuxedo was watching the game of Brancus versus Carl. So we've got one player that just played the matchup and another player that just watched the matchup. So we'll see.
yeah,
Uh,
I think. I think regardless of knowledge, I mean, Tuxedo, he plays against JK, which I believe is his brother, and so he knows the deck well
Oh,
anyway. Um, but it should be an interesting matchup. I think it'll probably still be a very quick one, but we'll see.
I'm really curious to see if Brancus will play the Meteor this first round or just keep it as a threat.
Yeah, because
yeah.
last game I don't know for sure, but we suspect he had it and ended up playing the Lightbringer instead.
Yeah. I think based on how he played, he almost definitely had it because he had a card left in hand and an extra Divine Die that he used as a dice power. And I know we saw him met up in round two, the two Lions be able to play it.
All right, so classic start, Rising Horde. I don't think there's anything out of the ordinary here. But I am surprised that Tuxedo's starting with the Salamander Monk.
Yeah, normally the Creeper would be the first book, right?
Yeah, that's what I would have suspected. But I also wonder if, let me pull up their list real quick. Uh, Tuxedo does have Nature's Wrath, and he has a Frog Ping. So I'd be curious to see if he goes for Frog Ping Wrath right away, just to eliminate the threat.
Hmm.
And that way, Brancus doesn't really have an opportunity to get in that extra 1 to 3 damage with before the Spear Burn.
It's pretty much guaranteed to be the three books, right? The monk, the crab, and the creeper. So it's a case of what's that fourth card? Going to be the fourth book, and then is it going to be something like Double Down, or as you say, maybe it's the Nature's Wrath?
Yeah, because
We've
I
seen
don't.
him.
Sorry, go ahead.
He's already dropped the False Demon book, which is not surprising that he didn't start that into Brennan.
Mm.
Um, he's dropped one of his double downs, but we know there's three in the deck, so
Yeah, and he's also lost the second Creeper book, which I don't really think matters anyway in this matchup, because the between the Crab Engine anyway, and how short this game probably will go, yeah, I don't think you're worried about getting focused Creepers. Oh, okay. So Brancus is
okay.
starting
Interesting.
big for the big swing.
Hunt,
Interesting.
Huntmaster, Panther Spirit, and the Rising Horde all out without first playing the Lightbringer, which is interesting.
Yeah,
And he's got that second lion up, so he's he's got the threat of meteor.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. He's sorry. One of you also. I'm just hearing some banging, so it's probably going to come across on stream. Just as a heads up.
Sorry, that's
Uh,
probably my
yeah. So I'm interested to see if Brancus just goes for like as much damage as possible. If he does a guide swing and then hits for 3, and then he can later spirit burn the horde for another 2 because right now Tuxedo doesn't have. Oh, there's a frog ping.
Yeah.
Okay, he does it on the Panther Spirit.
So
I
he's
wonder
not going to be doing a Nature's Wrath then.
No, so it's a Raptor Herder instead.
the Raptor Herder just to get blockers here, I imagine, and then try to avoid a situation where you just get meteored to completely wipe everything.
Yeah, at this point it would be a sacrifice for Brancus to basically be giving up all of his value just to try and stop the hatchling, duplicate, and salamander monk spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if one of you can quickly check that the stream is actually working. For some reason, I don't remember doing anything
Yes, I'll
different.
give it a quick check.
Sure, it says the chat's disabled, so I'm not
I don't see that you're live. No,
really.
really.
Well, that would be
So
completely unfortunate.
that's. Oh wait, and now it might be showing. Hold on.
I'll
Well, now it's showing you as live, but it's not showing me where to click on it. So
Yeah, it would just be under our account. Sorry, I have a second monitor. I can bring it up. It's just oh wait, there it is. This thing. It's usually under the live tab. I do see it live, and I'll post that as well for anyone who wants to watch. I believe that should be it.
yeah, it looks like it's up now. Okay.
So Brancus goes for the Rising Horde attack from the
Yeah,
Huntmaster buff.
and he guides that to keep some pressure from keep hope from guarding that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the creeper book.
So this is interesting. So this is going to be a slower round 1 then. There's not gonna. I mean, the frog has gone for Brancus, so he's not doing like a molten gold start in any way, and it wouldn't. I don't think makes sense to do sympathy, pain, final cry because he's going to be facing a lot of unit pressure. Just one.
Yeah.
I wonder if Brancus actually has the Summon Lightbringer, or if he's just committed to running Meteor.
Well, then the question would be, what did he start as his 5th? He could have started. I mean, Spirit Burn is going to take up the ceremonial. Meteor would take up the 2 divine, and then presumably he wants the salamander monk. So that's all his dice.
That's true.
I just don't know what he would hold that he wants to go into round 2 guaranteed with.
Yeah.
Maybe a Law of Fear. Maybe he does have Lightbringer and Law of
Law of
Fear.
Fear would be good.
But there's a huge dice discrepancy spent so far, 6 dice to 3, and
Mm-hmm.
Brancus has no damage on the Hope, which tends to be unusual for the round 1, which does go to show how useful Raptor Herder is, even just as a defensive unit.
Definitely. I think Tuxedo wants to try to fill the board twice, basically, once before a Meteor, and then have all of these dice to bring out creepers and potentially after the Meteor.
Yeah, because now he's in a tough
Okay.
position. You
You
Brancus.
don't want to meteor your Huntmaster.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Which also clears out the horde.
And yeah, you'd also lose. That's a especially when there might still be double down and still get seedlings out and
Well, double down does not work because the meteor would clear out the creeper first, which is when you would have to trigger double down. and then the second phase of the meteor would wipe out the remaining. So I don't think that's the
Would
play.
still get seedlings out. Like, so there's it
Yes,
might still not be.
but then I think probably what's going to happen is putting pressure just by using duplicate with the current creeper.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I was Tuxedo, knowing that your advantage round over round is going to be having all these books and being able to get, at least 2 units for every book that you have. I would suspect that he's just trying to keep Brancus off of units, and then in round 2 he can outvalue him.
Yeah,
I wonder
and
what
there
we
is
see.
the duplicate with the illusion die. So
Oh, interesting. Yes.
Specifically
spot.
attacking the Salamander Monk, which is interesting. So he doesn't want any defenders.
So no block, or sorry, no guard from Brennan on that to prevent the seed. And no, and also the counter as well.
Yeah, and the illusion die is
well,
now gone, so there is no double down available.
so likely the 2 other books. Maybe.
Yeah, there's going to be the tidal crab will take up 3 of those, and then he'll be left with a time die, which I would probably assume is Snapper.
Yeah. Right.
That would
Yes,
be the
title crab is
logical
Theoretically, it could
axed,
choice.
so
be.
that is all 4 of those. So yeah, I would assume that that's the other 2 books.
And
Brancus trying to get as much value out of the Huntmaster here.
Guiding, yeah, gonna force guard on that, most likely. No.
Interesting.
So he'll snap her the creeper most likely then.
Yeah,
Or
Tuxedo doesn't need to
find
worry about
some other way to get the other seed.
It feels like Tuxedo is playing a defensive game here, just hoping that if we go into round 2 and nobody's taking any damage, then Tuxedo is in a good position rather than in a bad one.
Yeah.
I think that's a win, right? I mean, well, he'll take 2 damage, at least
Yeah.
from
From
the
the spirit
spear
burn.
He'll
burn.
take the spirit burn damage and maybe a little bit more, but not the amount that Brennan could do here. And I think he'll go into round 2 in a good position.
Yeah, I think if you can make out against Brennan with anything less than 4 to 6 damage, that should be considered a win.
Hendrix is saying that chat is still disabled.
Yeah, he's the tech guy, so
So we get the fallen from the spirit burn. Question is Brancus going to play aggressively with these or use them to try and block attackers?
I mean, you can just kind of sit back if you want to. The creeper doesn't matter, right? You can sacrifice the creeper. Either way, you're getting the seedling, which is ultimately your goal. And if you can, you're going to get a Salamander Monk Spirit. So I would block the Huntmaster with the creeper to put 2 damage on it. And then you have an opportunity to try and kill it off this round. Although realistically, it seems that Brancus is holding the meteor, so he's going to do a board wipe anyway.
Yeah, I expect that the plan here is to meteor after the crab comes out.
Yeah.
If there's a fate reflection here in Tuxedo's hand, then the seedling with 1 status token will survive the meteor, right?
Yes.
Yes, it would, because it would take.
It doesn't have a token.
Yeah.
It would.
Yeah.
Well, oh yeah, because he would have to. No, but he would
The first,
summon the crab and then move it across if the creeper
that's,
blocks, right?
yeah. Hmm. Now, if the that could be a fate reflection instead of a snapper, in which case the meteor is going to leave something alive.
Yeah, so this is going to be interesting because effectively the board is going to be clear for Brennan. Tuxedo will likely have a snapper surviving, so he'll put 2 damage down, and then it's back to Brancus at top of round 2.
Yeah.
Sorry, Flora, I'm not sure if you're in the kitchen or something, but do you mind muting just if you're gonna do any banging?
Yeah, sorry. I'm kind of next to the kitchen. I'll
Ah,
mute when I'm not talking just to keep it down.
thank you.
Smendrix on the Discord is saying maybe better to meteor the thorns rather than meteor the seed, which makes sense as well.
Yeah, I just think if you're gonna wait that long, you're going to at least be taking 2 damage from the crab, and then another 2 damage from the snapper, instead of just clearing out the crab right away and leaving no opportunity.
Hmm.
But that's assuming it's again snapper instead of fate reflection. So it's I guess you gamble on that side of things. I think taking 2 damage is okay in general. Oh, okay. So he takes 3 just so that he can. This is interesting now. I think this is a really good spot for Tuxedo. Oh, sorry, Schmendrix. We were just assuming that the 5th card could potentially be Snapper. It could also be Fate Reflection. I'm not really sure.
I think Brancus has been playing the meteor fairly consistently here for Fate Reflection to potentially be a move.
Yeah,
Or
I haven't watched your replay yet. Did he start the Meteor in that game?
he did start the meteor, though he actually didn't play it, which seems to be a reoccurring theme. There's the snapper though, so no Fate Reflection.
Okay. Yeah, it's
And
I've played the JK deck now a few times with Shadowfire, just trying to do testing with potential answers, and it's really something that you kind of hold on to and see whether you can get your damage in, and then wipe the board. Sometimes you have to play more defensively, and in that case, you want to use the Lightbringer and a Divine buff. But in this case, there's nothing that you're really gonna like getting an extra 2 damage, and I don't think is worth risking. Sorry, is worth risking the return 6.
the time power to get that token instead of bringing out the snapper. So the seedling's now out of meteor range.
Yeah,
Ooh, no.
that's true.
So he can try to wait for thorns.
That's a really clever play, actually.
Yeah,
The
Um,
problem,
I think that was a really good play from Tuxedo to make it so you can't meteor the seedling and the crab. And he can just hold off on thorns.
yeah, that's right. So
And
now,
I think it's fine to just hold off on thorns and not let him get the meteor.
I mean,
yeah.
now if
Well,
you're
if you
Brancus,
summon the
you risk
thorns, they just
everything, right? You risk losing your Huntmaster, and your Fallen, and then the Thorns coming out. Oh, okay.
yeah. Well, he doesn't want to do anything, I guess, in this in this point. Just wants to wait with the meteor for the thorns to come out.
Yeah, which means I mean, Tuxedo has all the time in the world to pick apart, either the board or just get 3 free damage in.
Sitting with a 3 token seed is nice at the start of round as well. And just in general, starting the round with so little damage from a Brennan matchup is just going to be a nice place to be in.
Yeah, so now so you left the spirit back, which was smart because if Brancus chooses to go with Lightbringer, then he can't pull the seedling out of play. So Brancus passes.
Well, if Brancus summons the Lightbringer, then the seeds get popped, and it's pain time because the meteor is no longer a threat.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, Brancus is kind of stuck. He just can't spend those dice, or he gets thorns brought out.
That being said, I think as Brancus, you're okay here if Tuxedo passes, or even if he tries to take out the Hunmaster, you take 1 extra damage. But at least now Brennan will have a board of 3 units, so plenty of Spirit Burn targets. Still presumably holds the meteor going into round 2. Holds the meteor into round 2 for the thorns if and when they do come out. So it's a little bit of a standstill game.
I mean, the good news is if you're Brancus going into the second round, is you already have those dice matted up for that meteor, so you can play that on your first turn if you really needed to.
Yeah, and so there's a thread that was created in the Discord just for localizing the chat, and Killer said the same thing. Now he should just not meteor unless he pops the seed, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing them go into round 2. Brancus, top of round. So I think this turned out somewhat better for Brancus because now you have units, you're ahead on damage, and you can just start to do Brennan burn things.
Yeah, I agree. If Brancus can stall out here, then the burn engine will just be enough. Will be fast enough. It's just a question of can Tuxedo sequence stuff here around this meteor that's still a threat.
Mm-hmm. But that being said, they're just 1 life units. I mean, except for the Hunmaster. So if Tuxedo did draw into a Wrath, it's not like playing another Sally is really going to get much value. His units are a lot beefier, so he can build up a board and just sort of tank damage all day.
I mean, Spendrick says in the chat of the Discord, why not attack Huntsmaster to score 1 more additional point of damage? Like you were saying earlier, treatment, attack Huntmaster, force the guard.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
he left that on board.
But in that situation, really, what is he afraid of? The Lightbringer?
Yes, right. That's what I said is if he did swing to try and do the Huntmaster kill, Brancus probably takes it, and then Lightbringers in order to draw out the seedling, and then he can divine buff the Lightbringer and put 2 more damage onto Hope, which is a lot better for Brennan, right? Getting 5 damage in round 1 and keeping your board up. So that's why I think the pass was the right play there.
Here comes the Raptor Herder.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure. But a Wrath, which, he has, Tuxedo has 3 of, would be a great play right now.
Yeah, it would be really nice to take off 4 of your opponent's units. I wonder, will Tuxedo try and build up more board before instead of popping this seed anytime soon?
Oh, okay. So, I mean, as far as discards, 2 Sleeping Widows are gone, which I think is a huge relief for Tuxedo because you don't want that Spirit Burn Widows play. And now at least 3 of the 9 burn cards are out of play. There's a Final Cry, Sympathy Pain, and Molten Gold in the ditch, as well as a Fire Archer. So there it is. Oh, okay. So
There it is. Yeah, that's definitely good for Tuxedo there.
I also think this is really good for Tuxedo because in the event that Brennan wants to try and pressure any attack, for Tuxedo, you want the crab to die now. It's done its job, dropping the tokens. So you have a free blocker essentially.
Schmendrix does point
Yeah.
out if Brancus has Fester, he can get rid of the seed now.
He could. He only has 1 Fester in the deck, which I think, from JK's point of view, having developed the deck, is the right call, just given how few nights there have been in the last 6 months. But in a situation like this, where you do have 3+ life units, that hurts a little bit. You don't have the removal options anymore.
A lot of how this round will play out will be
2 out of
Brancus
3 Fate Reflections in the discard, I just noticed, and 2 out of the 3 double downs.
Yeah.
So that's a little, that's not ideal for Tuxedo to have those already gone.
Well, again, I mean, the Fate Reflections help against Meteor specifically a little bit, but now that it's round 2 and all the books are down, I don't think you really care. I mean, if you can get Brancus to spend 2 dice wiping a couple of units and you have 4 books and 9 dice left, you're in a good position. And the only thing I think is the real pain is losing the double downs and maybe even the molten gold, because now you're starting to lose. Oh, and a sympathy pain. You're starting to lose some of your reach, which means you're forcing yourself into winning by swing, whereas Brennan can still sit back. That being said, for Brancus' side, 2 out of the 3 Raptor herders are in the ditch. The Huntmaster's gone, and 1 of the Fire Archers and the Rising Horde. So ally-wise, or just general unit-wise, all Brancus has is the 2 books and 2 Fire Archers left in the deck and 1 Raptor herder. Of course, he can Ceremonial recur, but it just that you're starting to chip away at your own life total, and hope can slowly eat away at your board.
I'm not sure how I feel about that Huntmaster attack into the Tidal Crab. I mean, I feel like if you're
I don't
Tuxedo,
think that was
you're
very
happy
good.
about. Yeah, you're happy for that trade. Just the fewer times your seeds get pressured, then the happier you probably are, right?
I would imagine that it was more just as a main pass, because if he is planning on using Meteor this round, then you need to get some value out of the Huntmaster, but you also want to slow play and let Tuxedo build up a board so that you have an advantage to use the Meteor.
Depending on what cards Brancus has here, I wonder will we see a ceremonial side action to just bring something back out of the discard to put some board presence here? Like you could bring back the Huntmaster, for example.
Yeah.
We've got a lot
If
of ceremonial dice up and not much, like no molten gold, for example, no double nature.
if you do that, you probably still want to do it after using a Meteor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Schmendrix points out that Huntmaster attack could have targeted the seed instead, and then either it puts the seed back into meteor range or it breaks guard.
True.
And you don't lose the Huntmaster on it, although you will when you meteor.
Yeah, I guess the question is now at this point whether Tuxedo even cares about that seedling. There's nothing on board. He can take all day. He's got, he's got the engine to repeat with all the dice in the world to slow play it.
That's a strange sequence. Brancus deals Frog Ping to the seed to bring it down, I guess, to within 3
Hmm,
damage for the meteor, but then we have the Freight Reflection from Tuxedo.
that is interesting. Another play line, and I don't know if Tuxedo's considering this. Oh, he's using. Yeah, okay. I was just about to say, what if he lowers the meteor and then there we go. Okay, so he was.
Mm,
That was the one thing I was like, well, Carl didn't do it, and we talked about it in terms of protecting against the sympathy pain or the final cry. But in this case, spinning down the meteor, which normally we've seen being done with Dreamlock Mage, is really powerful and really irritating because now you're chipping away not only at the deck, but you've given yourself a ton of time to set up thorns. And at best, all he can do now is either play a Raptor Herder if he has it, or Ceremonial Recur a Herder and put that down, because otherwise he's looking at a lot of damage.
hmm Even if he plays the Lightbringer, that's presumably just going to come with a ping attack from Tuxedo for 6 damage.
Yeah, yeah, that's so that Fate Reflection was really good. And in general, as we said before, I think that frog ping against the seedling was a big mistake.
But surely Tuxedo could just have taken the damage, and then he's not going to die because you can't retake the meteor there and then. So I'm not sure. Is the Fate Reflection just to remove the
The
blocker?
blocker, yeah,
Gotcha.
because now he's got I mean, Tuxedo knows the deck too, right? Like, we all have the deck list, and when you know that your opponent
Mhm.
has at most 3 units in the deck that can be put on the board to block, um, there's no reason not to remove a blocker. Like the Salamander Monk is the only thing left. Um,
So Brancus just plays
But
the
choke
choke.
doesn't do a whole lot right now. I mean, it keeps the Sally duplicated, and it's a little useful, but it's not really stopping the threat here.
yeah,
Presumably needs to med up back to these divine dice again.
I don't think he would duplicate the Sally anyway because 7 versus 8 damage doesn't really matter. I think he's potentially saving himself some damage later on once the other creeper comes down. Um, but this could be a huge blowout round. I mean, depending on how Tuxedo plays it, he's probably going to get another set of thorns out, which means that Brancus is looking at 14 potential damage to face. Yeah, definitely take the
Super,
offer of
super
7
great
damage
gaming
now.
one.
Sorry, that's what
Not,
Schmendrick said in the chat.
mhm. Not quite what I was expecting from this game. It's really playing out very interestingly. We've got a super cagey first round where not much damage is dealt at all, but not much control of the board. But then I think that really just benefits Tuxedo going into the second round.
Yeah, and based on just how the cards have been played out so far, I think that Brancus got a really bad draw um,
Mm,
because there was, I mean, I don't see any reason to not play a final cry at any point when you did like lose your unit. Um,
with so many ceremonial dice up, yeah.
yeah, you just have so many, and we know that there's now 3 Sleeping Widows in the ditch, so there's nothing that's costing double ceremonial in the deck. The Rising Horde's gone, the 3 Sleeping Widows are gone. Um, you really only have the choke, the fester, the fire archers and the final cries.
I'm not sure on that sympathy pain. If I'm not totally sure if hitting Hope was right or if he should have hit the other thorn.
Yeah, because the snapper. So there's basically no way of denying the the other set of thorns now between the snapper being able to clear it up and having the tidal crab. You're in a lot of Brancus is in a lot of trouble.
It all starts with that nature's wrath that's just so advantageous to clear the board for Hope to just come swinging with all this stuff.
Yeah, and I think that was a misplay by Brancus, trying to be a little too aggressive, instead of using the Raptor herders as a defensive wall against the thorns and just sitting back and taking the little bit of burn you can get and stalling out the game until you get a refresh next round, for either a better draw or just resetting Spirit Burn and taking, your 2 to 4 damage each round. Now you have very little in the way of defending.
Well, Smendrix does make a good point again, which is that, the meteor is still at play here. So if there's another seed that comes out and another 2 thorns, then you'll just see that meteor, and there's no illusion dice left to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, maybe, but I mean, Tuxedo's got 6 dice left. He could put the creeper down, swing. Tuxedo attacks Fire Archer with Sally. Yeah, that makes sense. Just again, removing another unit, and he'll get the Sally Spirit as well. So you're now chipping Brancus down to. Oh, he doesn't counter. Okay, or he guards. Hmm. Well, I mean, either way, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't in Value Town, right?
Forcing another dice to be spent is always of some value if that's what you're using your guard for.
Yeah, I think that's a decent guard there too, because it also keeps if he wants the spirit, the snapper can't hit the creeper to get the seedling out of that.
All right, so Brancus is just playing race now. He went for the Spirit Burn right away, and I guess he's hoping that Tuxedo can't put 8 damage down, in the right order before the meteor blows everything up.
Well, I think that's quite possibly going to be the case here where, Brancus will be able to save himself, but then the problem is that Tuxedo is going first the next round. So Tuxedo could potentially set up enough of a board state to hit for fatal top of round.
Well, he would have to win top of round because, I mean, this again comes down to a little bit of the matchups with Brennan. Is it comes down to draw and dice roll. If Tuxedo cannot finish off Brancus between this round and top of next round, then in theory, um, Brancus can win on his first turn if the dice roll correctly between Molten Gold, Final Cry, and Spirit Burn. Because Tuxedo's at 7, and that combo does 7. So really, a lot of things need to come up correctly. He needs to draw the right cards. He needs to roll 2 frogs and a goat and a ceremonial class, but it is in theory possible to end it
That
right
molten
away.
gold, the 2 frogs, that's a hard ask, I think, for dice in terms of probabilities there, as opposed to the 4 damage, which is much more likely. But even then, if you have Brennan, if Brennan has their opponent on 2 health, then the sympathy pain wins you the game from any attack, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, well, not from any
Well,
attack.
any non-fatal attack.
Yeah. And again, uh, there's still that illusion die at play. So Tuxedo could
Yep.
put out the thorns at top of round, spin up a wolf, and then he is in the power position to deny sympathy, pain, and final cry.
I think something worth looking at here is how good of a play that time power was from Tuxedo in round one, because not only did it shut off the round one meteor, but it also kept the seedling out of meteor range after the Nature's Wrath.
Yes. Yeah, that was a very high level play, just in the amount of forethought and planning, like, a turn or a round ahead.
So I wonder, Tuxedo is thinking a lot, and as I can imagine you would be with so many options available to you here. If can Tuxedo create a board state that's going to pressure this uh, meteor without overcommitting, basically?
Yeah, I think you just slow play it. Um, I mean, you don't even have to put like, you can put out the creeper, take your 2 damage, put out the crab, potentially take another two. At what point does Brancus decide this is the right amount of value to wipe the board? Not to
Mm-hmm.
mention, we don't know what the other two cards in Tuxedo's hand is. I mean, it's not going to be Molten Gold, because, or I mean, it could be Molten Gold. He could be holding it to top around win. So he only needs to deal, in theory, 5 damage. Um, Sympathy Pain would be dead right now because there's nothing that Brancus can do to deal damage, really.
It could be
Um,
very bad if he has a raptor herder here.
Raptor Herder would be pretty bad, because that would force Brancus to use the meteor very inefficiently. Just between a creeper being put down and then a raptor herder, you're threatening, what is that, 5 damage, but you've only spent 3 dice, and you still have a lot left to go. Brian and Schmendrix are going back and forth in chat, debating the math and how tricky the meteor play is going to be on,
Mm-hmm.
both on Brancus' side when to play it, as well as Tuxedo working around it.
I'm guessing that the Mads is currently going through the hands of both of these players at the moment as well.
I think so. Tidal Crab is interesting. I would have almost been inclined to play Snapper on the Salamander Monk and threaten 3, and then you still have another turn to then play Creeper and hit for another 2, bringing Brancus into Molten Gold range for top of round. But
I'm guessing the idea here is that you can just time dice the seed if you need to, as well as the crab, or
hmm,
maybe it's just a case of not ever having a plan here to put tokens on the seed.
yeah,
Yeah, unburdening now kind of makes it seem like the plan is not to try to get the other seed out.
Well, with the seed out, the does the order of meteor resolution here work in the favor of Brancus or in the favor of Tuxedo, with brilliant thorns and a
If
seed out?
if the seed is already out, then it can't be killed by the meteor while those thorns are down, because they'll put 2 tokens onto it. There's the meteor.
Alrighty. So that leaves Tuxedo with 3 dice, the
for,
snapper and the creeper available for 4 damage.
yep.
So I mean, 4 and 4 is 8. right?
I,
Top of the
yeah,
round.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That
Um, I
that's
don't know
enough.
if there's anything to stop that.
Well, sorry, no, it's not. Oh, it is because he just duplicates the snapper for the 4.
Or you could just summon the snapper before you exhaust the creeper, even.
No, no, I meant going into next round because the creeper will die, turn into a seedling. So I
Oh
was like, how
yes,
does he
of
get the
course.
4 at the next top round? But he just duplicates the snapper. I mean, that's not guaranteed game. If Brancus rolls a sympathy power, and has sympathy pain, he can deny the top of round win.
Yep.
Of course, if Tuxedo rolls a wolf, oh no, he can't because he can't duplicate and wolf power. So it's possible for Brancus to still get there, but
And now it's not. There's
oof,
the roll
Yeah.
and it's not.
yeah,
So that's game.
that's game. Oh, attacks Brennan. Was that
Oh,
a mistake?
Possibly.
oh, flash strike.
Ah, okay.
Flash strike.
That's 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 just a flashier way to do it, I guess.
That is very good. Okay, very
Yeah.
cool.
All right.
That was a super
Well,
exciting final there in terms of seeing the
congratulations
play.
to Tuxedo.
Yeah. Wow. What a game. I mean, congratulations to both. Obviously, Brancus making it this far, well done, and Tuxedo once again showing that his version of Hope Creepers is incredibly strong. Um, that was really fun to watch and just think through the different play lines.
Definitely. It didn't play out in the way I was expecting it to, and so it was exciting to see. How did both of those players react to that weird slow round one?
Yeah, yeah. It looks like Brancus is saying he had a lot of fear and he decided not to use that to exhaust the seedling. That does seem like a misplay. Um, but then I guess the question would have been how does he end up trying to get the remaining damage through? So, very cool. Um, Thank you guys for co-hosting.
A pleasure. Thanks. Big shout
Yeah,
out to
fun to be here.
Graves for organizing the Open tournament and the association with the Phoenix League.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully another tournament. I know the draft is going on right now, but we'll probably have another tournament soon. Flora, you said you were potentially organizing something in 6 weeks' time.
Yeah, I am looking at doing a webcam tournament in mid-April. I should be announcing something on that soon. It'll probably be an open list, but it'll be webcam games so people get a chance to use their actual cards. I also know sometime in the next couple weeks we should be seeing the first Phoenix League pod tournament.
Yeah, that'll be really cool, and that should hopefully be with the new cards as well. They'll
Mm,
from what I've seen, Dijon says they are coded up or at least close to, so it's a matter of waiting for the artwork. And that'll be a lot of fun as well to start seeing what shapes up with new cards and whether those the extra healing that's available now between Phoenix Attendant and Chant of Transfusion, or Chant Fusion as Killer has called it, if that's enough to sort of deal with some of the heavier burn stuff. So, all right, I'm going to wrap this up. And, next time, if you guys are available, then that would be cool. Otherwise, this is always open for whoever wants to co host.
awesome.
Thank
All
you,
right,
everyone,
thanks
for
for having
listening.
me.
Yep. Have a great day or great remaining weekend.